Hi, and welcome to my very first YouTube video over here on BookTube. I have contemplated making this channel for 2 years. I tried, I erased videos, I thought they sucked, I didn't post them, but I am here now. It is 2026 and I'm like, why not conquer our fears and actually start our goal of having a booktube, because I have Bookstagram and Book Talk, so might as well join the space over here. And I figured I'd start off with a simple video of my top all-time favorite reads. Honestly, my top 5. These are my go-to books. I have them stacked right here, and I promise that if it is not your cup of tea, that is okay. We all have our different tastes. We all have our different opinions when it comes to books, and that's why the book space is so much fun, because we can all like books and we can all dislike them, but whatever one likes, it does not matter, okay? These are my top 5 all-time favorite books that will be forever 5 stars or more in my heart. If I could have rated these books higher than 5 stars, I definitely would have. And it goes along, like, some of these are book series, so it also goes along with the series that I absolutely love them, okay? So starting off strong with our very first one, it is, of course, Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I loved this book. It was eye-opening because there was a lot of things I could relate to in these pages that I know that, you know, it's a lot about abuse and like growing up in a complicated family and going through things that you shouldn't have to go through as a kid. And growing up in foster care, I did live a life that not every kid wants to live, but it did help me turn into the person I am today, and I can never be more grateful for where I am now. And reading this book just reminded me of like the things that kids can go through that aren't spoken about, and the whole series is really each character's story among the pages. And so this was the best book, like the best way to start this series, honestly. I just finished book 3 and I really enjoyed the story behind Joey and Aoife's relationship. I felt like I connected with the characters. These characters are based in high school, so I mean, I was in high school like 10 years ago, and I know that a lot of people tend to like really ship the relationships, and they think that they're like the relationships in the stories are like, oh, so wonderful, and like they say a lot of weird things about these characters online, but I connect with them on a more emotional and relatable aspect, rather than like, I don't know, the relationship aspects. Like I don't really connect to like the relationships happening, if that makes sense. Anyways, moving on, we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This entire series wrecked me. It was very fun to read. I have dabbled in fantasy a couple times, and obviously like I have like Onyx Storm and Iron Flame. I have yet to read Iron Flame, so don't take that as a indication, but I did read Fourth Wing. I've read the Powerless series. What else have I read that's fantasy? I've read the Shepherd King series. I mean the first book. I haven't read the second one. And then I read Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I have Brimstone sitting here. And then I obviously read some of ACOTAR. But this series was the best fantasy series that I have read. I know there's a lot of hate towards it online because it's like a replication of another book, but I never read the other story, like the other books that people are referring to when it comes to Powerless. So I could not say if it looked similar or anything of that sort. So I really liked it. I gave this book a 6 star, and the entire series is just my absolute favorite. I will forever want to reread it. I probably will do a Powerless reread this year because I want to refine my characters in here. I have yet to read the very last novella, which is Fearful. It's been sitting on my shelf because I just haven't wanted to end the series, but I do plan on reading it within the next couple weeks to end off the entire book series. And then this was my first book by this author, and I have to say I want the rest of her books because it was very easy. I read it in 24 hours and I really enjoyed it. It's called It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. This book, the romance, the story, the character development, I enjoyed the entire thing from start to finish. I could not put it down. I wanted to just read it in one sitting, but being a mom of 2, it was not doable. So I read it in 24 hours. Probably the quickest I've read a book in a long time, and I loved every second of it. I ate it up. The characters in the story are absolutely addicting, and if you haven't read it, I suggest that you do. I could talk about that book forever. Next up we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. My first Emily Henry book, like everybody else, was Beach Read. I did not enjoy it. I have a couple of her books on my shelf. I have Beach Read, I have People We Meet on Vacation, I have Book Lovers, Great Big Beautiful Life, Happy Place, and Funny Story. I did not really enjoy Beach Read. I loved Book Lovers and I did like People We Meet on Vacation, but my all-time favorite was Happy Place. There was a lot of things in here that I could relate to. At one point they did mention that the girl proposed to her boyfriend, and it reminded me because at the time I was reading this, I was getting ready to propose to my now fiance that I am marrying in 4 months from now. And it just, I remember cause I like to tab my books. So I remember going in here and I don't remember what page it was on, but it was like in the, here it is. I tabbed it and then wrote exactly the day that we were, that I was proposing to him in it. So I like to go back and respot like all the little moments that I was tabbing and the little notes that I put in. I don't always note my books. I usually just put little tabs and note what they're for. I usually have like a note on my phone saying which colors go to what. But anyways, it was really nice to just be able to go back and relive that little moment of when I was getting ready to propose to him 3 years ago. So this is one of my favorite books by Emily Henry. If you haven't read it, I suggest you do. I know they have it in paperback now, but for some reason I've just really been loving the fact that they come out in hardcover. I love my hardcover books, to be completely honest. I really do. So I love having, like, I love the fact that my last 3 Emily Henry books are all hardcover, because I think I'd be sad if the only 2 of them were. Last but not least, we have yet another Emily Henry book, Funny Story. I devoured this one. This one I also read in 24 hours last year, and it was surprisingly so easy to read, so much fun. And if you haven't read Emily Henry's books, I suggest you do. I could not say enough about this author. She is just so easy to read, so fun, and her relationships, I like to see the character development between her characters because I feel like they do the most growth in most of the romances that I read. And I also like the fact that it is pretty, when it comes to any spiciness, like I love myself a good spicy book, don't get me wrong, but as a palate cleanser from those spicy books, I like that Emily Henry's are pretty, I wouldn't say necessarily closed door, but they don't go into full detail as like compared to other books that I've read, obviously. So I really like this as a palate cleanser. Anyways, with that being said, these are my top 5 all-time favorite books that I suggest that you guys read. If you haven't read these books, I don't know what you're waiting for. Especially the Powerless series. I have to say, you have to read it. And Binding 13. I have the first 3 on my shelf because I've been collecting them as I go. Because they are pretty pricey here in Canada. Books are not budget friendly, as we would like to say. So I do read a lot on my Kindle too. But the best part about these books is that you can get them on KU. So if you have a KU subscription, I suggest you start reading them. And then maybe we could catch up and chit chat about them. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my very first YouTube video. I know it is very short for the first one, but I do plan on doing a reading vlog, hopefully this week, fingers crossed. And I plan on posting every Sunday afternoon, probably around 3 or 4 p.m. And yeah, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Leave a little comment down below so I can see my very first comments. And I hope you stick around for my book talk, my booktube journey. And if you want to find me on other social platforms, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok with the username bookish with Jazz. I will leave them linked down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in my very next video. Bye everybody.